He didn't yell. He didn't warn. One elbow crushed the first guy's nose, blood everywhere. The second flew through the screen door and shattered the coffee table. And that was before the real cops showed up. What happened next? You wouldn't believe it. Let me take you back to the beginning. It was one of those rare midweek afternoons that felt like a small miracle. Sunlight filtered through the sycamore branches above Grandma Lillian's porch, painting the chipped floorboards in golden streaks. She sat in her rocking chair, the one older than any of us, wearing her floral cardigan even though the temperature was a warm 78 degrees Fahrenheit. She sipped sweet T3 ice cubes, not 2, not 4. Always 3. That was her thing. Around her, a modest jungle of potted plants thrive: marigolds, petunias, even a defiant sunflower that somehow beat the frost. Wind chimes twinkled in the breeze. Peace. The kind that lives only on front porches and in the hearts of grandmothers. I had stopped by earlier that morning with my cousin, Marcus. He pulled up in his dusty blue Ford Ranger, smelling like gasoline and black coffee. Said we were going to repaint Grandma's picket fence because the old white was starting to look like someone had smoked 10 packs a day around it. That was Marcus' gruff voice, hard hands, and a heart that beat steel and velvet. Marcus had served in Iraq. Came back quieter. Still wore his buzz cut like armor, still moved like he expected danger around every corner. But he'd never once stopped showing up when it mattered. We were nearly done with the second fence panel when Grandma let out a laugh, a real one. One of those deep, warm belly laughs. She was watching a squirrel repeatedly fail to reach the bird feeder. I remember thinking, God, I hope I laugh like that when I'm her age. That was the exact moment everything changed. A deep engine rumble cut through the serenity. I looked up to see a matte black SUV creeping down the street. Not driving. Creeping. No plates. No dealer tags. No HOA or city logos. Just black. Marcus noticed immediately. His jaw tensed. He wiped his hands on a rag, the brush hanging loose at his side, eyes locked on the vehicle as it rolled to a stop at the base of Grandma's driveway. The front passenger door popped open. A man stepped out, late 40s, clean-shaven, wraparound sunglasses, tucked-in polo, clipboard in hand. Behind the wheel sat another man, bulkier, arms crossed, resting a hand dangerously close to a belt holster that did not look civilian. They didn't wave. Didn't smile. Just walked up the drive like they owned it. Afternoon, said clipboard. His voice scraped like gravel. We're with the HOA Enforcement Division. Need to speak to the property owner. Grandma blinked up at them. You mean me? 3 notices. Code violations. Final compliance order. This property is marked for removal. I stepped forward. Wait. Removal? For what? Unauthorized porch items. Unapproved decorations. Non-standard mailbox. Lawn gnomes, said the second guy. Marcus didn't move, but I saw his fists clench behind his back. You evicting her over lawn gnomes? I asked. Marcus stepped forward. You got a court order? Statute 14B of the HOA bylaws is all we need, clipboard said. Statute doesn't mean anything without a legal warrant, Marcus snapped. Calm. Controlled. Clipboard smirked. She doesn't comply? We initiate forced removal. Grandma looked like someone had dropped a mountain in her lap. No, Marcus said. One word. Final. Then the big guy moved. Tried to step inside Grandma's house. No knock. No permission. Just walked toward the door like it was his. Don't, Marcus said. Quiet. Dangerous. HOA business, sir, the guy replied. Marcus didn't move. Clipboard dropped the act. He reached to his belt, pulled a black stun baton. Buzzing. Popping. Blue light flickering like a wasp's nest. Final warning. And that's when Marcus snapped. Left hand shot out, grabbing the wrist midair. Baton jerked sideways. Pivot. Twist. Pop. Baton dropped. Then the elbow. Quick. Clean. Surgical. Crunch. Clipboard dropped like a sack of bricks. Blood gushed from what used to be his nose. His sunglasses exploded. The porch, once so peaceful, now rang with chaos. Grandma screamed. The second guy turned. Too late. Marcus was on him. No warning. Grabbed him by the collar and launched him off the porch. The guy bounced, landed, rolled. Marcus followed. Grabbed him again. Slammed him into the SUV. Metal dented. A distant car alarm wailed. Pretending to be cops? Marcus roared. Try pretending to breathe through a shattered windpipe. The guy raised both hands, whimpering. It was just scare tactics, he blurted. Just a bluff. Marcus leaned in. You picked the wrong house. Then Grandma, still shaking, stepped down the porch, phone in hand. Yes, 911? We have 2 men impersonating officers. One's bleeding. The other might need an ambulance. Marcus backed off. Clipboard was moaning. The big guy was crying. I grabbed Marcus' arm. They might sue. He cut me off. They were armed. They crossed a line. He was right. This wasn't an HOA dispute. This was invasion. Predation. They picked Grandma's house because it looked easy. They didn't know she had Marcus. Sirens were coming now. The big guy, still not smart, lunged again. Marcus sidestepped. Grabbed. Spun. Through. Boom. Right through the screen door. Crashed through the living room. Glass exploded. Coffee table shattered. Fruit bowl vaporized. Then silence. Grandma gasped. Even Marcus looked surprised. You're insane. The guy coughed. No, Marcus said. I'm the reason you're still breathing. Neighbors gathered. Phones recording. One lady clapped. Then the cruisers pulled up. Deputies spilled out. Marcus Reed? One asked. Yeah. I'm Deputy Torres. My cousin served with you in Fallujah. Marcus nodded. Deputy took one look at the mess. Clipboard, baton, busted noses. Secure the scene. Call medics. Dispatch, impersonation, assault, trespassing. Grandma stepped over broken glass. Picked up a shard of her fruit bowl. You owe me a new table, she said. Marcus added, and one hell of a lawsuit. By morning, it was all over the internet. Vet turns fake HOA enforcers into modern art. The video from the doorbell cam went viral. Subreddits lit up. Local news showed up. The feds got involved. Turns out the 2 men were part of a scam ring hitting elderly homeowners across 3 counties. They used fake badges, threats, and fear. Not anymore. Grandma's porch became a shrine. A movement. A story shared thousands of times. They made shirts. Mugs. A local carpenter made a new coffee table with the words burned into the edge. Don't mess with Grandma's house. And beneath all the jokes, the casseroles, the memes was truth. One family stood up. One man said no. And justice came not from a badge, but from a porch, an elbow, and a whole lot of love. And that love? It still echoes in the wind chimes every Sunday afternoon. He didn't yell. He didn't warn. One elbow crushed the first guy's noseblood everywhere. The second flew through the screen door and shattered the coffee table. And that was before the real cops showed up. What happened next? You wouldn't believe it. Let me take you back to the beginning. Existing content here. And that love? It still echoes in the wind chimes every Sunday afternoon. But the story didn't end with viral fame or neighborhood heroism. The aftermath grew beyond anything we could have imagined. A week after the incident, a local civil rights attorney, Marta Delgado, reached out to Grandma. She said this wasn't just a case of impersonation, this was elder abuse, home invasion, and emotional trauma. She offered pro bono representation. Grandma, with Marcus' blessing, said yes. Lawsuits were filed against the 2 impersonators, Darren Baines and Curtis Hall, and investigations opened into possible accomplices. The HOA the men claimed to represent had never heard of them. The case became a cornerstone for legislative reform in the state. By month's end, a bill was introduced requiring any HOA enforcement personnel to register with the county sheriff's office and display certified ID. The judge overseeing Darren and Curtis's criminal trial didn't take long. After viewing the footage and hearing Marcus testify, his voice calm, eyes steady, she handed down the verdict. Guilty on all counts. 8 years prison, no parole. Their scam, exposed on national television, became a cautionary tale in community safety seminars and veterans' town halls. Grandma, meanwhile, became something of a local legend. She was invited to speak at town events, awarded a Medal of Civic Courage, and even appeared on a national morning show. She wore the same floral cardigan, smiled politely, and said, "I'm not brave. I just have a grandson who doesn't tolerate nonsense." Marcus never capitalized on the fame. He kept fixing fences, showing up for Sunday dinners, and volunteering quietly at the local VFW hall. He helped organize neighborhood watches and trained homeowners to recognize real authority from fake. He called it basic porch defense. The carpenter who made Grandma's new coffee table later brought over matching chairs, engraved with the words, "Love defends." As fall rolled in and leaves painted the sidewalks amber and red, Grandma's porch became the gathering place again. Kids on bikes, neighbors with lemonade, veterans swapping stories, and Marcus sitting at the edge, always watching. One evening, as the sky turned violet and the wind chimes whispered their quiet song, Grandma turned to Marcus and said, "I used to feel like time was taking me away from the world. But now I think it was just waiting for the right moment to remind me I was still part of it." He didn't say anything back, just smiled. Poured her another glass of sweet tea. 3 cubes. Always 3.